Good evening, everybody. This is Pastor Chris at the Emden Christian Church, one of the preaching, teaching elders here, and I wanted to take this time on what what day of the week are we? Tuesday night. I'm gonna try to do this regularly, maybe more often on Mondays, but we're just trying to figure it out right now with the pandemic going on. There's a lot I want to say about the pandemic, but there's already so much information out that the greatest encouragement I can give everyone is just continue to listen to healthcare personnel and the CDC, and just be wise in how you're approaching things. But in light of the fact that so many of us are home, and in light of the fact that I think it's good for us as believers to take advantage of the resources that are out there to grow in an understanding of God's truth, I want to take tonight to highlight a ministry that I would recommend. And what I want to do with this podcast is sometimes I'm going to recommend online things, sometimes I'm going to recommend certain teachers, certain podcasts, certain books as I'm reading them. And I also want to talk to the other teaching elder here, Jeremy, and hopefully he would be willing to do this as well. I know he has certain people he would definitely recommend. This is one I think him and I have both used and agree with. And I would also say this is a great one right now that I would encourage Christians to use with your youth. I think this is good, maybe anywhere from 4th, 5th grade on up, as a small information about church history. And so this is put together by Stephen Nichols. Stephen Nichols is, I think, associated with Ligonier Ministries, and he takes 5 minutes, and I'm pretty sure most episodes he hits right about 5 minutes, and he takes you through some important information about church history. And a lot of times he focuses on certain pastors, certain events that have happened. I love this. He has a focus here on the Vulgate and on Stephanos. And so that's going to deal with biblical Greek translation and the historical figures behind some of that. And it's wonderful because it's 5 minutes. And if you go over to his website, and this is the podcast stuff I use online. It's Pod Paradise. I just like the setup and the way I can go through everything. But if you come here, what you should be able to do, let me do this. So if you click on the episode, you can go to Listen Now. So I'm going to mute that real quick. I don't know why my phone's blowing up. But it has to do with some stuff about the virus and my job, but my secondary job. So if you click on the episode, what you can find is this link right here, which will take you to his website, and this will let you also play it, but it doesn't have all the amenities I like that are down here. The ability to control the volume as easily. But if you go to his website, you can actually get the whole transcript of everything he is going through. And so if you miss something, or you want to make sure that your child is taking through the information more diligently, you can always have them make use of this. I love this episode. It was about a theologian and pastor, Augustus Toplady, and his work, his influences in his life, and then he even goes into one of his hymns and the folklore that goes behind that. And so just a lot of good information in 5 minutes is, I think, a blessing to the church. Now, obviously, you could read a biography and get so much more about this minister of the gospel, but there's good information packed into every 5 minutes episode that Stephen Nichols does. And so I just want to encourage you, make use of this resource, especially right now as your kids are home, maybe have them use this as a part of their time in history. Teach them church history. I think one of the most wonderful blessings of teaching church history to all believers, even in these package segments, is that it reminds us that not everyone has always looked like us. That Christianity is diverse in a lot of ways. And when I say that, I'm not saying the fundamental teachings of Christ are diverse. Those are solid. Those are founded in Scripture. But Christians have been, over the past 2,000 years, studying the Word and trying to best worship their Lord. And they've come to different interpretations sometimes. And what this helps us to do is often to be more gracious with one another when we have disagreements. By all means, there are some things that are so core and essential that those disagreements really need to put a wall between us. But there are other disagreements where we should probably be more gracious with one another and try to understand why we saw things differently. But at the end of the day, my greatest encouragement and what I'm hoping to do, like I said again with this series, make use of these resources that are out there. Maybe read some of these books that we end up recommending. But again, 5 Minutes in Church History by Stephen Nichols. You can get it on any podcast service. And like I said, if you go to his website, you can get the whole transcript as well. I pray this resource is a blessing to you. It has been a blessing to me many times over. And ultimately, as we are home right now, love your family, love your Lord, and continue to grow in your faith. Peace be with you all.